Hey everyone, welcome back to Daily Life XYZ, where we break down the wild world of global politics without the spin. I'm Luna, and buckle up because today's story is straight out of a political thriller. Imagine this, a single TV ad, yes, one ad, just derailed decades of trade talks between the world's biggest economic buddies, the US and Canada. President Trump? He's called it quits. All because of some words from a ghost of presidents past, Ronald Reagan. If you're scratching your head, you're not alone. Hit that like button if your team what just happened, and subscribe for more breakdowns like this. Let's dive in. What the heck is going on? First, a quick rewind to set the stage. Back in 2018, Trump renegotiated NAFTA into the USA. That big North American trade deal keeping maple syrup flowing south and American cars north without insane duties. Fast forward to 2025. Tensions are sky high. Trump slaps 35% tariffs on Canadian steel, aluminum, autos, timber, you name it. Why? He says it's for national security and to protect U.S. jobs. Canada fires back with its own retaliatory hits, and boom, Trade War 2.0. Enter Canada's new Prime Minister, Mark Carney, the former Bank of England boss, who just got elected this year on a promise to fix this mess. He's been hustling for a deal to dial back those tariffs, especially since Ontario, Canada's industrial powerhouse, is getting hammered. Factories laying off workers, prices spiking on everything from beer cans to pickup trucks. But then, Doug Ford, Ontario's premier and no fan of tariffs, decides to fight fire with footage. October 16th, Ford drops a bombshell, a $75 million ad campaign blasting across US TV. It's not some cheesy pisse, it's slick, narrated by Ronald Reagan himself. Yeah, the Jipper, Trump's conservative hero. In a clip from Reagan's 1987 radio address, his folksy voice booms, "Tariffs hurt every American worker and consumer. They trigger fierce trade wars." Cut to images of bustling stock exchanges, cranes hoisting US and Canadian flags together, and everyday folks paying more at the pump. Ford posted on Facebook, "We'll never stop making the case against American tariffs on Canada. Prosperity means working together." It's aimed right at the heartland, reminding Americans that tariffs aren't just a Canadian problem, they're hiking your grocery bill too. Genius? Provocative? You bet. But did it cross a line? Now, here's where it gets Reagan versus Reagan wild. The Ronald Reagan Presidential Foundation jumps in, slamming the ad as a misrepresentation. They say Ontario edited the clip without permission and twisted Reagan's words from that original 5-minute speech. Remember, Reagan did impose some tariffs on Japan back then, but he warned against going overboard. The foundation's eyeing legal action, copyright vibes. Anyone? Trump? He was already steaming. Just days earlier, at a White House GOP huddle, he griped about foreign countries taking ads against tariffs. But this lit the fuse. Late Thursday night, October 23rd, Trump unleashes on Truth Social. The Ronald Reagan Foundation has just announced that Canada has fraudulently used an advertisement, which is fake, featuring Ronald Reagan speaking negatively about tariffs. They only did this to interfere with the decision of the U.S. Supreme Court. Tariffs are very important to the national security and economy of the USA based on their egregious behavior. All trade negotiations with Canada are hereby terminated. Boom. Done. No call to Carney, no backroom chats, just a social media nuke. And get this, the Supreme Court's ruling? It's next month. They're deciding if Trump's emergency powers let him slap these tariffs willy-nilly. If they side against him, billions in refunds to companies worldwide, including Canada. Talk about timing. The internet and X, formerly Twitter, exploded. Canadians are calling it petty and bizarre. One user, one TV spot, and poof, entire economic ties gone. Reckless. US voices? Split. Some MAGA fans cheer. About time Canada pays up. Others, dude, Reagan said that, own it. Ontario's Ford? He's doubling down, tweeting support for Carney. Carney's office? Radio silence so far, but sources say they're disappointed and eyeing WTO complaints. Globally, markets dipped Friday morning, oil futures down 0.3%, stocks jittery. Experts warn this could shred USMCA, Spike prices on your next Tim Hortons, run south of the border, and drag Mexico into the fray. Let's get real on the stakes. Canada's our top energy supplier. Think cheap gas. We're theirs for machinery and tech. This isn't just politics. It's your wallet. If talks stay dead, expect retaliatory tariffs on U.S. whiskey, cheese. Ford's already hinted at electricity surcharges to swing states. And that Supreme Court case? A loss for Trump could unravel all his global tariffs, from China to Europe. To break it down, U.S. imports from Canada were humming at $400 billion annually in 2024, but they've already dropped 12% since the tariffs hit in 2025, and if negotiations collapse entirely, we're looking at another 20% plunge with even steeper costs passed on to consumers. On the job front, over 50,000 positions have been lost in Ontario alone so far, with more than 100,000 at risk if this drags on. For everyday Americans, the average grocery basket that cost $250 pre-tariffs is now up $15, and without a deal, it could jump another $15 on basics like beer, cars, and lumber. Meanwhile, the U.S. has raked in $10 billion in tariff revenue this year, but a full breakdown could balloon that to $20 billion. Though lawsuits from affected companies are stacking up fast, threatening to claw it all back. So, is this a masterstroke to protect American jobs, or a tantrum over a tough love ad? One thing's clear. In Trump's world, words, even Reagan's, have weight. What do you think, fair fight or foul play? Drop your take in the comments, smash like if this cleared up the chaos, and subscribe for updates as this trade tango twists. Is Carney calling Trump's bluff? We'll watch. Thanks for tuning in. Stay informed, stay chill. See you next time.